Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. Our glories to Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada. All glories to the Vaishnava devotees. And all glories to our revered speaker today, His Grace PANCA GAUDA PRABHU. Prabhu, we miss you. We're so thankful to have your association here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Actually, I just came to Mayapur yesterday and I forgot all about it, but good thing she reminded me.
Hare Krishna.
Because Kartik was so super busy, you know, Prabhupada's disappearance and Govardhan Puja and installation of Gopal Krishna Maharaj's Samadhi, and so some things are going on here. It came to Mayapur, but now we got the good fortune of seeing all of you.
No, it's our good fortune to have your association because you're carrying all those wonderful energies with you, and you're going to be sharing them with us today. So, dear devotees, this is our great fortune today. And without further ado, we're going to be putting the verse on the screen. So Prabhuji may start sharing his love and wisdom with us. Thank you, all devotees. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Let me pull it up on my screen. It's bigger. Okay.
Oh, I think you're doing 25, Prabhuji, right?
I think I'm doing 26. I don't know. Whatever you want me to do, I can do.
Let me see. Let me double check. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's supposed to. It says 26 here, but I don't know.
Yes, 26. So we're right. We're correct. 26.
Okay. I should start?
Yes, Prabhuji, please. Yes.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, Text 26. Uddhava Uvacha Nanute Tattva Sangradhyam Rishiko Sharvo Dike Sakshad Bhagavata Dishto Martya Lokang Jahasata. Sri Uddhava said, "You may take lessons from the great learned sage Maitreya, who is nearby and who is worshipable for reception of transcendental knowledge. He was directly instructed by the personality of Godhead while he was about to quit this mortal world." Srila Prabhupada's purport. Although one may be well-versed in the transcendental science, one should be careful about the offense of Madhyada Vyatikrama, or impertinently surpassing a greater personality. According to scriptural injunction, one should be very careful of transgressing the law of Maryada Vyatikrama, because by so doing, one loses his duration of life, his opulence, fame, and piety, and the blessings of all the world. To be well-versed in the transcendental science necessitates awareness of the techniques of spiritual science. Uddhava, being well aware of all these technicalities of transcendental science, advised Vidura to approach Maitreya Rishi to receive transcendental knowledge. Vidura wanted to accept Uddhava as his spiritual master, but Uddhava did not accept the post because Vidura was as old as Uddhava's father, and therefore Uddhava could not accept him as his disciple, especially when Maitreya was present nearby. The rule is that in the presence of a higher personality, one should not be very eager to impart instructions, even if one is competent and well-versed. So Uddhava decided to send an elderly person like Vidura to Maitreya, another elderly person. But he was well-versed also because he was directly instructed by the Lord while he was about to quit this mortal world. Since both Uddhava and Maitreya were directly instructed by the Lord, both had the authority to become the spiritual master of Vidura or anyone else. But Maitreya, being elderly, had the first claim to becoming the spiritual master, especially for Vidura, who was much older than Uddhava. One should not be eager to become a spiritual master cheaply for the sake of profit and fame, but should become a spiritual master only for the service of the Lord. The Lord never tolerates the impertinence of Maryada Vyatikrama. One should never pass over the honor due to an elderly spiritual master in the interests of one's own personal gain and fame. Impertinence on the part of the pseudo-spiritual master is very risky to progressive spiritual realization. Translation again. Sri Uddhava said, "You may take lessons from the great sage, the great learned sage Maitreya, who is nearby and who is worshipable for reception of transcendental knowledge. He was directly instructed by the personality of Godhead while he was about to quit this mortal world." Okay, he gave me a powerful verse here. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakayam Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. What can I say? This is something very essential in our spiritual lives, to take lessons from the Guru, from the spiritual master. And we're reading in this part, 3rd canto, 4th chapter, Krishna's imparting knowledge to Uddhava. Uddhava's very intimate, close to Krishna, and highly respected, very, very elevated. So much so Uddhava was sent to Braj to pacify Nanda, Yashoda, all the elderly cowherds, gopis, gopas. He was entrusted with this responsibility naturally, such an intimate friend of the Supreme Lord, directly instructed, empowered by the Lord. Yes, he's a very qualified spiritual master. And he was also amazed by the behavior of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, Yashoda, Nanda, and the gopis. He just felt overwhelmed by their love and devotion. So this is a spiritual master who hears from the Lord and who understands the Vedic knowledge, the Vedic literature. Prabhupada was asked, why have you come? What are you teaching? You want to reestablish Sanatana Dharma, the principles of religion, because people are completely bewildered by Kali Yuga, are lost, and they have no guidance. They think that if a person can fix a car really nicely, he's a automotive guru, or he can give good investment knowledge. Oh, he's a money guru. But real guru is one who can solve all the problems of material life, get one free from the bodily platform, from the miseries of material life, and awaken our original spiritual life. But we're so much enamored and misguided by the so-called leaders or gurus of society that people are happy to carry on with their basic lifestyle, thinking that if I have a nice apartment with all the newest furniture, all the newest electronics, color, big screen televisions, and great sound, and people are seeing my, fancy car and everything that I've done, people can see that I'm very successful in life. But this is just a temporary reflection. Everything in the material world, the relationships and all the different aspects of material life is actually a reflection of the spiritual world, but it's misdirected, that we're thinking that we can be happy with this temporary experience or temporary endeavors. We all know, just like a fruit, when it's ripe, it's very juicy, very crisp, but then after some time, it just starts dwindling and becomes rotten and falls to the ground and back to the earth. So this very short lifetime is not everything. And unless we find the spiritual master and inquire submissively, just like Vidura, although he's also a great personality, and he was inspired to take initiation from Uddhava. But here Uddhava is showing the etiquette of not trying to supersede Maitreya. Maitreya, a close friend of Vyasadev's, very elderly, and also heard from the Krishna directly. And so he was empowered and very much qualified. So naturally, he guided him. Not that a younger person can not take elderly persons as disciples. We've seen how Shukadev Goswami, although the son of Vyasadeva, upon his appearance, even Narada Muni, Vyasadeva, great sages, and even great learned personalities from higher planets, they were all hearing from Shukadev Goswami because of his empowerment in his position of being guru. But to speak of Prahlad Maharaj giving so much guidance, and Dhruva Maharaj, but Uddhava, being close friend of Krishna, he had a mission, and the guru is always setting the proper etiquette as far as spiritual respect for the elders, and this is so much lacking in society. We see that someone who's cultured, who's giving spiritual guidance, he follows the guru parampara. Evam parampara praptang imang rajarshayo vidhu. And just like this morning, we heard a beautiful class. Srivas, he gave a class today in Vrindavan. And he said, Prabhupada made the impossible possible. Because in Kali Yuga, especially in this age, people are just so much driven by ignorance and so much covered by the modes of material nature that there's no hope or any possibility of receiving transcendental knowledge or guidance from the absolute truth. What did we know about Krishna, Balaram, Vrindavan, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Govardhan Leela, Govardhan Hill, all of Krishna's pastimes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda? We were just lost, looking for happiness like everyone else, bewildered, thinking that sense pleasure is the only happiness in life. And so just work hard, enjoy life, and that's it. That's the end is there. But we see that there's only suffering and misery. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam is a temporary world. where there's always fighting, especially in Kali Yuga, so much fighting and arguing, and people have no respect for one another. It's dog eat dog, survival of the fittest. People are looking how to get ahead and how to become happy. But Prabhupada, Srivas mentioned about gratitude and appreciation and respect for the spiritual master, and just feeling overwhelmed that we've been given such a wonderful gift of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Vedic literature, what did Vyasadeva, we had the Mahabharata, we have all the Vedanta Sutra, and then the summary of the Vedanta Sutra, Amala Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam. Because the Vedas are actually giving guidance mainly to materialistic persons, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, people who perform religious duties for good health, good wealth, and the promotion to higher planets. So dharma, artha, money, enjoyment, kama, sense gratification. Then the realization, if one is intelligent, will come that, no, let me moksha, let me strive for liberation. And beyond the ideas of going to the heavens and enjoying life in this world with family, with nation, with the bodily concept, the whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna how to get free from the bodily skin disease. They're thinking, oh, this is my family, this is my nation, this belongs to me, and this body is the center of all my focus and intelligence. How do I make myself happy? That the self is the body. But dehinosmin yata dehe kumaran yoganam jaram tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuyati. Those who are fixed, they see the body is always changing, but the soul remains the same. So Srila Prabhupada, he performed a miracle, such love for Krishna and such faith in his spiritual master and determination. Prabhupada was emphasizing that saints, sadhus, religionists should not just simply sit quietly at home performing their austerities and meditations, that one who is a sadhu, a saintly person, not that we recognize ourselves as saintly persons, but we're on the path of self-realization, despite the fact that we may have many shortcomings. We have desires, anger, lust, greed. All these exist in the form of, in the material world, they simply bind us further and further. But if we utilize everything in the service of Krishna, then we can actually please the Guru and please Krishna. When Vidura was asking enthusiastically for Maitreya, for spiritual guidance, Maitreya became enlivened. And it wasn't that Maitreya was challenging or just doubting or feeling like, well, let me test the Guru and see if he knows anything or he really is bona fide. He genuinely wanted to have this guidance and assurance from his spiritual master about the transcendental realm, about the spirit, about awakening his spiritual identity in Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. We're all servants of Krishna. And there's a scientific process by which we can actually understand, if we carefully follow this spiritual science of Krishna consciousness, the techniques are there. And miraculously, Srila Prabhupada, it wasn't that he had, although he had faith that Krishna would reveal that just by coming to the Western world and seeing how people are behaving and the depth of wisdom and knowledge that Prabhupada is bringing with him, he applied everything scientifically for our benefit, made a beautiful society, made a beautiful regimented program to help us so we can actually gain strength and faith and confidence. Because devotees become fearless because they're under the shelter of the guru and the shelter of the devotee. And the guru is actually Krishna. We should see like that Krishna inside is Paramatma, is our guru, and he's manifest externally as a spiritual master. Because the bona fide acharya, the bona fide spiritual master, is one who can give us Krishna consciousness and knowledge of the self and engage us in the transcendentally, so that a good doctor, he sees the patient, he understands the disease, he gives the medicine and the regimen to follow so that he can become free from the disease. So in the same way, we have this sadhu sangha, this association of devotees, the eagerness to hear about Krishna and to glorify Krishna is a good, healthy sign. When we stop having that desire to hear about Krishna and start cutting so many corners of our devotional practices, then material desires will overwhelm and our intelligence will be covered and lost. And again, like the deer who's running enthusiastically in the desert looking for water, there's no water in the desert. It just runs faster and faster and then dies of heat and exhaustion. So people are working hard. They're endeavoring. Although there's some temporary happiness, without doubt, there's a reflection of happiness. The spiritual happiness cannot be compared to material happiness, because it's something beyond, description and words. The spiritual realm is just Sat Chit Ananda, eternal, full of bliss and full of knowledge. And we have that opportunity. So what are we doing here in the material world? It's just an unlimited nature of Krishna. He's not that people say, well, why did he make the material world? Why does the government make a prison house? Why are there rules and regulations to govern civilized people for their own protection, the protection of others? So one who's not fully convinced, or one who's not fully awakened his spiritual existence, he cannot go back to the spiritual kingdom. We have to stay in this material world. We may make advancement to, a beautiful body, or born in a rich family, aristocratic family, maybe have more opportunity to take up devotional service, may become demigods in the heavenly planets, or we may become many different species of life, or go to the hellish planets. And we've been doing that since time immemorial. So it's essential that in the human form of life, if we don't utilize our intelligence and the ability to inquire about the absolute truth and engage in devotional service and try to learn by studying Prabhupada's books. Like my personal example is last 4 or 5 years have been recording Prabhupada's audio books. And there are many, many books and many great acharyas and many ways to go. But then I just thought about it, and I thought, if you look at the titles and all the books, Srimad Bhagavatam, read the entire Bhagavatam, read the Krishna book, read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, and so many other literatures are there. I was reading Light of the Bhagavat today, the Prabhupada, beautiful analogies from the 10th canto about the autumn or the rainy season, and Prabhupada was giving so many beautiful analogies. And I was thinking, yes, Prabhupada's audiobooks, because he's giving us from the various acharyas comments and various, there are many books also. I'm not saying that one should not read, but if we really think about how much energy it takes to in Govardhan by Sheshika Prabhu and many other devotees read the entire third canto, 5 hours a day reading the third canto. I wasn't present because I was in Vrindavan. We were doing the Kartik festival. So many devotees said, "Wow, I've read it so many times, but it just had such newer and fresher, or not fresh, but just exciting realizations coming. Like, whoa, I never recall hearing that." So it's always new, it's always fresh, and the way Prabhupada has worded it, our guru, spirit, he's empowered to give us Krishna consciousness and give us the medicine and the formula by which we can actually guard ourselves or protect ourselves from Maya, from the illusions of the lust and greed, which is permeating our senses and our mind. We've been serving the mind and senses life after life, and the intelligence gets contaminated. So Krishna sent Prabhupada to purify the heart, purify the mind and intelligence, and clear. After the rainy season, there's so much turbulence that everything's very muddied, and the waves and moving. But they say in the autumn, when the rain stops and the mud this settles, then the water is like crystal clear. You can see the transparency, like our consciousness is all muddled when the lust and greed and anger is there, jealousy, envy. This disturbs the mind and senses, and people are influenced by all these uh, hurdles, all these obstacles in our spiritual lives. But with practice of Krishna consciousness, and by chanting Krishna's holy name, if Krishna's present in his name, we may not have a taste for the holy name. Even Krishna admits that I haven't, all the power of your names is there. There's no hard and fast rules, but still the taste may not be fully manifest because there's a covering. Just like if your tongue is covered, you cannot taste. Or if you have jaundice, everything, even sugar candy tastes bitter. But by taking that rock candy, sugar candy for your jaundice, then the taste starts developing the ruchi, and from then the bhava, the different feelings, emotions. When you're sitting with the devotees in ecstatic kirtan, or you're seeing the beauty of the deities, and you just forget all your worries, you're chanting, you're dancing, or you're thinking that, yes, take rest early because I want to get up early so that I can also follow the order of my spiritual master. But at the same time, it's the best time, early morning, to hear the nectarine Srimad Bhagavatam, and to, of course, chanting around during the day. It gets harder and harder as the modes of nature increases, and the problems and the concerns of our everyday lives. There's so much to do, so much to do. But we always seem to put other things before our devotional practices. So this is a great science, and Vidura was fortunate. And it's not just guru is just a charismatic personality. Oh, I want this guru because he really inspires me. The guru is a representative of Krishna, and Srila Prabhupada is the acharya for the next 10,000 years, and his books that are meant to be read and studied by everyone, by all of us. And we have this wonderful opportunity Vrindavan Dham is there, Mayapur Dham, many holy places. Now Kumbh Mela is coming. But it just amazes me the enthusiasm of some of the pilgrims. Uh, I know that Kali Yuga is everywhere, even in India. I'm sure they're just as materialistic as anybody else. But also on the other side, when they know that there is a kata going on, or there is a kirtan or prashad, or just to visit the temple as a tradition or culture, they're very enthusiastic and inclined towards that. So that's a great fortune of being born in Bharatvarsha. But it doesn't matter where we're born or what color skin or religion or cultural background we come from. Every one of us has the opportunity to serve Krishna, and whatever capacity. It's not that the person who's cooking for the devotees or cleaning the temple room is less than the pujari who's dressing the deities and offering arti. Krishna accepts the loving service of all of us, but we have to stay strong in our hearing and chanting. That's the emphasis. Prabhupada was happy book distribution and spreading a Krishna consciousness, but he also wanted us to be very regimented and have a schedule where we can actually day by day in a very systematic way, methodically, we will advance more and more in our Krishna consciousness. There's always stumbling blocks, and there's always reasons why the mind may be disturbed. Adhyatmika, adhidaivika, adhibodhika. You may be living in a condition where there's hurricane, earthquake, or even, pestilence, disease, what to speak of war, and many obstacles are there. But we see in the scripture, especially the battle of Kurukshetra, all the challenges of the Pandavas, and sometimes Krishna puts the devotees in extremely awkward situations in order for us to surrender, because we don't have much time. Time is of the essence. We need to utilize our time and our energy for spreading Krishna consciousness, because I found, because I was in book distribution from mid 70s. Every day we go to the airport, the ports, or traveling Sankirtan. Although the mind doesn't like it, or we feel uncomfortable having to put out that austerity. But we found that by trying to serve the spiritual master and giving Krishna consciousness to others, it brought a certain happiness that's many times by the end of the day, we're just so euphoric and enthusiastic that practically you don't want to leave. You just want to continue performing this yajna, sacrifice. We read about the austerities and sacrifices of great devotees, and how they received the darshan of Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya, he's there in the Sankirtan. Put yourself in the kirtan, participate in the kirtan, carry a little pair of cartels with you so that you can join the kirtan. Learn to play a little mridanga, or just clap your hands, but just be there and do it. And this is following the order of the spiritual master. Not that one should think, oh, let me take sannyas because I can get respect and people will, offer me all kinds of facilities and praise me, and or let me become guru, then I can have many disciples that can take care of also my needs. And the guru, he is there to guide us in spiritual life, not for his own personal profit or glorification. And sometimes it's criticized that that no one should become guru, because then you become too much addicted to this glorification, or you utilize all your disciples for your own purposes. Real guru is a representative of his guru, representing Krishna. And just like many sincere followers of Srila Prabhupada have taken the responsibility to become guru, they should lead their disciples and their followers to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, who's leading us to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Bhaktivinoda Thakur, six Goswamis, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And just by being here, coming to the Holy Dham, and seeing how the Goswamis, their temples, and their teachings, nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction, so many of their teachings. And we hear of their teachings through Prabhupada's books. He's often quoting Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami. And by reading the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, we're hearing Lord Chaitanya personally instructing Sanatan, Rupa, and the Goswamis what it means to be guru, what it means to be take on the responsibility. Even though they're great ministers who speak many languages, praised by the common people, and they come from good families, but at the same time, were, in one sense, excommunicated from the Brahmana society because they were serving in the Mohammedan government, still showing that despite one's background and or birth, that Kiba Vipra Kiba Nashi Shudra Kene no Ye Krishna Tattva Veta Se Guru Hoy. One who knows Krishna, who's glorifying Krishna, who's speaking on behalf of Krishna, he is bona fide guru. So we're not going to try to simply analyze who's bona fide, not bona fide, but the Prabhupada set the standard by giving us Bhagavad Gita, giving us Srimad Bhagavatam, nectar devotion, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So much guidance and instruction is already there. So keep the association of devotees. This is the most valuable treasure, that one who is advancing in spiritual life is not interested in mundane topics, politics, news, criticism. Yeah, you hear this, you hear that, because these things are actually painful. Devotees want to hear the positive and beautiful pastimes of the Lord with his devotees, and how Krishna cares and loves his devotees. And understanding that Krishna exists, obviously this material body has complexities of the material world, everything, the whole world, obviously there's a controller, there's someone who's creating the beautiful fruits and flowers and varieties of life, and every living being has a very unique appearance, and eyes, ears, nose, and the whole structure. There's a brain behind everything. Krishna is that brain. Krishna is Tu Bhagavan Swayam Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. All the scriptures are glorifying Krishna. All the gurus are glorifying the Supreme Lord. So we should take shelter of Krishna consciousness, take shelter of Srila Prabhupada's mission. And we ourselves, we can also become guru, simply repeating the words of Krishna and setting a proper example. Everyone should be, when one sees a devotee, he immediately remembering Krishna. And the more we can remind everyone of Krishna, the better the world will be. But as we know, Kali Yuga is full of Kalau Sudra Sambhava. Everyone's low-born and they're slow in spiritual advancement. But we're having a golden age of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the midst of all the chaos and insanity of the world, Prabhupada's books, Srimad Bhagavatam and the Vedic and Bhagavad Gita and the holy name is hope for those who take shelter there, because that will awaken our eternal existence and give us the strength to go back home, back to Godhead. Prabhupada's giving us that. Although it may seem very distant and insurmountable due to the storehouse of maybe bad qualities or unlimited material desires that may be lurking in our senses and mind, and due to our karma, we have challenges. But the power of the holy name and the association of devotees and taking shelter of our guru and proper respect. You know, the Sanatana Goswami is giving so many care. What are the qualities of a pure devotee? What are the responsibilities to be performed by one in devotional service, the do's and don'ts? Let's learn it all. Let's, this is our path. This is our family, our spiritual family, eternal family. So I'm not sure about the time, but I think
I will do.
so. I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak a little bit and trying to take shelter in our service. Service is valuable. We have to find a way to keep ourselves busy in hearing and chanting about Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for I don't know about others, but personally, one thing I've observed with your humble self speaking Bhagavatam is always trying to instill in the audience the importance of trying to put into practice whatever we've been hearing, which to me is the most important thing. I used to have one devotee I used to go and distribute books to. Anytime we have a new title, I will go to him and he will buy it. But there was one time I went to him, he said, Sahadev, enough. I've had so much information. I already know what I need to do. I just need to practice. Don't bring me books anymore. But I'm just saying this to impress on us that the reason we meet every day to hear about Bhagavatam, to hear about Krishna and his pure devotees, is to learn from the examples shared so that our life can be successful. So thank you for doing that each and every single time you come here to bless us with your wisdom. With that, devotees, the floor is open. If anyone may have questions, comments, realizations you may want to ask or share, please indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question or to speak. Hare Krishna. First question I have, Prabhuji, is that I have heard, I can't quote at the moment, but I have read it myself. And I've also heard it from Srila Prabhupada himself and many other devotees that the very day we are born, when we're going to die is also determined. So if that is the case, then where does this impertinence leading to one losing his lifespan come about? There are lots of things that are also said by the scriptures that by doing them, you lose your lifespan. If one's lifespan is already fixed at the time of birth, then how does some activities performed by an individual reduces his or her lifespan?
It may be, we may think, well, the destiny is the destiny, and I have a certain amount of life, so how is it by these activities I'm going to change that because it's already destined?
Hmm.
But that destiny took in consideration that you would be making those kind of bad choices in life. Yeah, that we really don't know. Trikalagya means knows past, present, and future, and it's hard for us to rationalize. And we can try to juggle it around this way and that way, but when it says by performing these type of activities, it reduces your lifestyle or your not lifestyle, your life expectancy, and and by performing pious activities or what or different other beneficial activities, you may have a longer life. But all that is taken into consideration, just like Krishna knows our nature, and he also knows in what way we're going to act. But I guess this is a basic guideline to proper behavior and how to increase our longevity in life and how to avoid the sinful activities which will decrease our lifespan and maybe propel us into yet what is that one verse that one who worships the demigods goes to the demigods, one who worships the forefathers goes to the forefathers, one who worships me comes to me. So we're given choices how we want to act and how we want to behave, and but at the same time Krishna knows, but also he's giving us guidance that somehow or other we may take up this process of devotional service and avoid the pitfalls which will keep us entrapped and reduce our opportunity in our spiritual lifestyle of awakening our Krishna consciousness. I'm not sure if I really addressed your concern. If there's something more that you want to say about it, maybe I can dance around that.
Well, I think you did, except that I'm wondering, I believe that, of course, three-color giants, they know past, present, future, so they know that this person is going to misbehave this way, that way, they know. But if they know, that means that somehow one is invincibly compelled to behave in a particular way. Otherwise, why would somebody know that tomorrow Rahu is going to jump in between the sun and the moon? Which means that it is kind of fixed. That is what my carnal mind is telling me, that it's a bit dicey, but I kind of understood what you were saying, that we are giving choices, and depending on what choice we make will determine what happens or where we'll be in the future. But if someone knows ahead of time and you cannot do anything to change that, and it has to happen, then it means one is somehow either being manipulated or controlled.
There was an example given by one sannyasi that you may have purchased a ticket from New York to California. Now it's destined that you're going to get on the plane and you're going to go to California. But while you're on the plane, you have freedom to get up, go to the bathroom or read and chant, or just, there's many things you can do on the airplane, which you may say, well, that's also known. that may be, but the independence is still there. And it's just, for me, when we hear about how great God is beyond our ability to imagine. So trying to understand the fact of past, present, and future. And, sometimes they make movies about people going in the past to change the future so that this doesn't happen because they changed something in the past, the whole drama. So the guru and the Krishna consciousness movement is an opportunity to kind of, in one sense, derail us from our destructive journey to a hellish existence and give us an opportunity to utilize our minute independence to make a change. You may say, well, Krishna knew that change would take place. That may be, but this is also mercy. This is mercy of Guru, mercy of Krishna, that only by the grace of Krishna and Guru can one have a opportunity to take up bhakti. And of course, if the Guru is instructing, do this, and you think, well, I'm going to do something different, and it's already destined, so that's what I'm going to do. But we should not try to, if we're not in that level of understanding, thinking that, well, this is the opportunity to change that bad behavior or dark future by taking the message of my guru or taking the message of Krishna and applying it in my life. But what you're saying, and that if everything's predestined, is already known, then what's the use of doing anything? What's going to happen is going to happen. Still, we have our minute independence and the detail of how Krishna's giving us that opportunity by Agyata Sukriti, by causeless mercy, to give us a chance to give up this material life and take up spiritual life. This is like a special consideration here. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became overly magnanimous and is flooding everyone, but people are just, unfortunate who will not take it.
Yeah.
You always have good questions, Dave. Very, 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 very thoughtful. We have to be thoughtful, and we have to try to, free the doubts. Inquire, you inquire submissively. We try to free the doubts, and I'm hoping that Krishna can give us the right words to speak that will be satisfying to some degree. That there's everything is fixed, but at the same time, we do have our minute independence. And if awakened or shaken by the Guru and Krishna, that independence can bring us the bright future of awakening our spiritual lives.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. And it's so interesting to get your perspective and wisdom. His Grace Madhavan Prabhu, please, you may unmute. You are muted, Madhavan Prabhu.
Okay.
Good.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, our great speaker. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving us this very wonderful nectar and giving us your time and your attention. We are very, very grateful for that. Just a little comment about the question asked by Sadi Prabhu. In my own thinking, or I believe our karma is fixed, or our destiny is fixed based on our previous actions or activities. But at the same time, we can improve or worsen the situation because I think it's a dynamic system. And generally, they now say that if one is disrespectful to others, then it can shorten its lifespan. So by generating negative karma, we can worsen our situation. That is, our karma is not fixed like that. We can improve it, maybe by engaging in Krishna consciousness, devotional service, taking spiritual master. And at the same time, we can worsen it. You know, if, especially as stated in this text, that if one is disrespectful to an elderly person, that there is possibility that one can reduce the duration of his life. So I want to think that it's a dynamic system. While we are alive now, we can also improve on our, our punya, you know, or we can even worsen the situation, you know, by being very well speaker. Hare Krishna. That's just the little I want to say about that.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Prabhu, he just gave comments just to buttress what you were saying. I hope you got it.
Yeah, I mean, as you sow, so you shall reap. You know,
Yes.
we're all conditioned, and the higher authorities may know which direction we're going, but there is that choice. After Krishna spoke to Arjuna, and even though Arjuna was giving good arguments and some resistance, after Krishna explained the whole of the Bhagavad Gita, he said, "Now you choose, you do as you like." And so we've always have our minute independence. That's how we ended up in the material world, because otherwise, if everything was fixed, Krishna would just keep us in the spiritual world, and we'd have no issues with this struggle of birth and death and suffering.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a complex network, but we do have independence in this. And so when if we're fortunate enough to hear the guru, and that you're fortunate enough to attend the class, that means that you have some interest to hear about Krishna. Then if it motivates your enthusiasm to perform more hearing and chanting, or better devotional service, or respect the elders, or respect the Vaishnava etiquette, then all this is good for us in the end of the day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So with that, we've got to.
I have my question. Sorry, please. I have my question.
Sorry. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
My question or my curiosity, the time Lord Krishna wants to quit this mortal world, when he was speaking with Uddhava, was Maitreya was there also, or he was speaking to both of them, or Maitreya was just looking at them or hearing when Krishna was instructing Uddhava? Please, I want to know the situation, the exact situation that time.
Yeah, Maitreya was present. Krishna was speaking to Uddhava, but at the same time, Maitreya was hearing the spiritual instructions and guidance that Uddhava was receiving, but also it's described many places that Maitreya was close friends with Vyasadeva, and he was there for that purpose also, to be benefited by the instructions given to Uddhava as the Leela unfolds, and then he became guiding Vidura, and it was a very powerful spiritual master. So Krishna was instructing Uddhava, but at the same time instructing Maitreya, although Maitreya may not have been sitting, directly in the conversation.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Srimad Vara Prabhu, please you be on mute.
Hare Krishna, please accept my obeisance, Prabhu. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. Just if you permit me, I want to make some comments on the question asked by Sahade Prabhu. I think most of the time we confuse destiny with fate, and we have to understand that Krishna consciousness, our philosophy, is not fatalist. We believe there is destiny. The destiny can be changed. A lot of places in the scripture, untimely death is mentioned, but that the time of death is fixed, I've not heard that Bhagavad Gita says one who takes birth, death is certain. But that the time of death is fixed, I don't know. I have not heard it. Because the scripture makes references many times that there is untimely death. We chant this mantra for Chanamrita Akalamitu Aranam Sabhavya Divinashanam Vishnu Dudu Kapitra Sirasadarami Aha. By taking the water that has washed the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu and rubbing that to my head, it takes away the chances of dying untimely and destroys all diseases. So there are many places where untimely death is mentioned, which means that there's such a thing as untimely death. It's not necessarily fixed. Right? That's one. The other thing is thinking that everything is fixed. Only few things are fixed. Not everything is fixed. Only few things are fixed. The mother, the parents you're going to have, what area of the world you're going to take birth, and what kind of body you're going to have. Only very few things are fixed. A lot of the rest of things are going to be determined by your choices, your actions, which are going to, again, determine the rest of your future, right from here and afterwards. So we need to correct that impression that everything is fixed. The scripture doesn't say that everything is fixed. Few things are fixed. Many things depend on what we do now, our actions. That's why Krishna put a lot of emphasis on action, the right action. Thank you very much for allowing me to give
Yes, no, that's a very good point. Just Ajamil was on his deathbed and the Yamadutas were taking him, but somehow by the good upbringing, he named his son Narayan, and then he had the opportunity at his deathbed to hear what is Dharma, what are religious principles, who is to be punished, who is not to be punished, and the Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas had a very elaborate conversation, and then Ajamil was given another opportunity to go and perfect his devotional service. So I agree, Trikalagya doesn't mean that it's just all etched in stone. There is some freedom of choice, again, for us to make the right choice, karmana daivana trena, that by our actions and by our desires, we're formulating our next life or the death and birth in this material world. But in the human form of life, if we have a chance, good fortune of meeting Guru and being instructed by Guru and Krishna, because Krishna and Guru are one, then one can make change of choices. But how to rationalize that and understand it all is very complex. But at the same time, I agree with you that although the destinies are there, we have our minute independence and we can make the right choices and better our lives.
Hare Krishna. Shrimad Prabhu, please give me a mute.
No, is the
previous one.
Yeah, it's previous one. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Well, Prabhuji, I have a question, and when Madhavan Prabhu started asking his question, I thought I didn't need to ask my question because my question stems from his question, but he did not ask it the way I wanted to ask. So I'll still go ahead to ask. Let me see. The verse we are discussing today is 3:4:26. And sorry, 3:4:26. And here we are reading that Uddhava directed Vidura to go to Maitreya for the spiritual enlightenment because he understood that age-wise, he is way younger than Vidura. So he couldn't give the knowledge to Vidura, but Maitreya was like the same age group. So he directed him. Now, if we go, this is text 26. If we go 16 rounds of our japa behind, that is 16 verses prior. So we go to 3, 4, 10. There is an interesting thing here, and I want you to help us. 3, 4, 10, which is 16 texts prior to today's discussion. Srila Prabhupada states that although both Uddhava and Maitreya were great souls, the Lord's attention was more on Uddhava because he was a spotlessly pure devotee. A jnana bhakta, or one whose devotion is mixed with the monastic viewpoint, is not a pure devotee. Although Maitreya was a devotee, his devotion was mixed. Now, Uddhava is a pure devotee, and he knows that Maitreya is also a pure devotee, but not as pure as he, Uddhava, because Maitreya's devotion is mixed. Now, why would, for the sake of material age, Uddhava direct Vidura to go to Maitreya for the knowledge imparted to both of them by the Supreme Lord? That, in one sense, is telling me that one may not necessarily have to be a pure, unalloyed devotee of the Lord in order to give the knowledge of the Lord. But if that is the case, then why do some devotees say that only Srila Prabhupada can give diksha, only Srila Prabhupada can pass on the knowledge that Krishna has given? And unfortunately and funny enough, these same people who speak like that, they also give the knowledge. So I would like you to help buttress or contrast why Uddhava, being such a very pure devotee of the Lord, unalloyed, and Maitreya, even though he's a pure devotee, but his devotion is mixed, as explained here by Srila Prabhupada. But here, Uddhava is directing Vidura to go to Maitreya.
Right. Well, I mean, it's obviously for proper etiquette, and although one may be like Srimati Radharani always feels that everyone else is a much better servant than me. You know, that she actually has this mood at being the topmost devotee of the Lord, that everyone else is doing much better service than me. And Uddhava, out of his humility, being a pure devotee, he was following proper etiquette, as he was indicating that Maitreya also heard from the Supreme Lord, and the pure devotee is not that just from the person that, I mean, Srila Prabhupada is giving us a connection to the Guru Parampara and giving us the knowledge by which we can awaken our Krishna consciousness. Now, Uddhava could have given that same opportunity to Vidura and said, yes, you know, I will initiate you. But to show the etiquette that in front of an elderly person who also was getting messages from Krishna, although as you mentioned that Maitreya was a devotee with mixed, his devotion was mixed somehow. But even a nectar of devotion describes Uttama Adhikari, even a guru who's on a lower platform, that's not on the highest platform. But many places it also says that the spiritual master should be a pure devotee. But I guess there's different degrees of a pure devotee. But we're not here to compare or to try to analyze, well, my guru's, more pure than your guru, or the guru, a genuine guru is giving Krishna consciousness, and he himself may not be of the topmost category, but because he's giving direction to Jari Dakotare Koho Krishna Upadesh Amaragai Guru Hoy Tare Desh. One who knows the science of Krishna, he can deliver it to others. But you may still have some mixed residue within, but you're guiding to the pure, you're guiding to Krishna, who is the ultimate guru. You're guiding to Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which I recognize as a spotless Purana, and also Bhagavad Gita spoken by Krishna, and Vyasadeva is incarnation of Krishna. So the guru business is to lead one to Krishna. And Uddhava, in my estimation, felt that Maitreya was quite competent and is more appropriate for him to guide Vidura, who's also going to end up at the lotus feet of Krishna in the form of taking up the process of devotional service, the techniques and the hearing and chanting and the rendering of service. The guru's guiding us to the nectar. Now the guru may not be, as it was described, that Uddhava was on the topmost platform, but maybe Maitreya had some mixed devotion. But still, he heard from our Krishna, and he could give proper guidance to Vidura. I guess there's many ways of explaining. That's my understanding. Maybe someone else has a better explanation of that one.
No, I think probably your explanation is very satisfactory to me, that there are different levels, but Sanatana Goswami explains in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there are different levels of devotees. Nevertheless, each and every single devotee is happy with their service to Krishna, and Krishna is happy with their devotion. So I think that is what matters most. So thank you so much for the explanation. Anyone else with something to ask or to share?
As you mentioned,
okay,
the Brihad Bhagavatamrita was a good example that he was going from Lord Shiva and the Yadavas and the various demigods on higher planets, and then Vaikuntha, and it's like you think, oh, well, and then he was fully satisfied practically in every place he went, but then his restlessness drove him to go even further and further. So there are many, many layers and depths. And as long as we're fortunate enough to get the guidance to Krishna, and Krishna will he reveals within our heart. What is that verse? That Sarvasya Chahang Haridisana Vishwamatat Smriti Jnana Pohanam Cha or Tesham Satata Yuktanabay. I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So Krishna, he plays a role in this whole process because he is the guru externally and internally. And in one sense, he's non-different than Maitreya. He's acting through Maitreya to guide the guru. But each and every person has his level of, and they're happy with that level where they're at, I guess, like that. Sorry.
Well, probably I have one last
Yeah.
question. And go ahead.
Hare,
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Prabhu. Sorry.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you very much. My respectful obeisances to you. Our glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, Prabhuji, when you say material the miss devotion, what does it exactly mean?
Well, and here it says that the jnana bhakta, or one whose devotion is mixed with monistic viewpoint.
Yeah.
There may be many different levels of understanding the absolute truth, and even who was that? They said Shukadev Goswami and the four Kumaras had a leaning towards impersonalism, but when they smelled the tulsi offered to Krishna's lotus feet, and they were given guidance by Narada, they, embraced the pure bhakti path. So I think we all have mixed devotions, and we're trying to not just by our own endeavors, by the mercy of Krishna, that there may be even Advaita Acharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, chastised very, very heavily, and we're going to beat him for speaking monistic philosophy or impersonalist philosophy. So I think any deviation or mixed rasa from, like they say, the gopis have the purest form of complete unalloyed love for Krishna. They're the prime example. But there are many surrendered souls. Even Chitraketu, he had the personal darshan of the Lord, naturally pure devotee, but then criticized Lord Shiva in a friendly way, and there was a misunderstanding. So there are many, many depths. It's a very, very fine process, Krishna consciousness, and we're having many layers of mixed feelings and devotions, and that's my understanding, that Maitreya maybe was still having some other viewpoint that wasn't exactly the way Uddhava was seeing. Even Uddhava felt inferior to the mood of the gopis and the Brijabasis, so he's a pure devotee, but he still felt so inferior that I'm just like, I want to be a clump of grass. So the dust of the gopis can come on my head. So he was making a differentiation, and he's saying, well, he's a pure devotee, he's the same as the gopis, but obviously there's different levels of pure devotee that top most of the love and mood of the gopis they're exhibiting, or the Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. But there's many, many other pure devotees that may not be on that level, but still they're accepted by Krishna. That's their relationship with Krishna and their pure devotee level. I just see that everything's very personable. And as far as I can see, that this is how Maitreya was also fortunate to be there and be instrumental in this Leela of Krishna with Vidura and Uddhava.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So, what advice will you give in this particular connection? There are many things that Prabhupada would have given us as his followers, but he emphasized more on the bhakti aspects of devotional service. I mean, there are many, karmic section is there, ritualistic activities, but Prabhupada did not pay much attention on those mystics. And nowadays we see more devotees, some devotees are more into mystics, and at the same time chanting and following the four regulative principles and doing the deity worship and everything. So you may think that we are performing devotional service, but at the same time, we are looking for mistakes and try to help this person, help that person. And so what will you say? What would you say about this? Some of us trying to look for Krishna, but at the same time looking for his power. What advice would you give in this aspect?
Yeah, this is the complexity of the Vedic literatures, which were Atharva, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, and all, every living entity in this material world is looking to achieve something, and the Vedas guide them. If you want to achieve this, you do it this way, do it that way. It's gradual elevation. Even Lord Buddha, when he appeared to dissuade the followers of Vedas who were misrepresenting or misinterpreting the Vedic instructions and utilizing the animal sacrifices for their personal, enjoyment or benefit or profiteering. And then Shankaracharya, bringing back the authority of the Vedas, but because people were not on the level of being able to accept pure devotion, then the monistic theory ideas were presented not as a permanent situation. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and established this, prema bhakti, this prema pumarto mahan. The goal of life is to awaken our love for Krishna, not strive to become, Lord Brahma or demigods. And in other ages, it may have been a stepping stone to bring people with, longer. They could perform the yagyas, or they could perform the mystical prerequisites for their advancement. But in Kali Yuga, in this age that we're living in, our lifespan is so short, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being the most merciful incarnation, and Prabhupada representing the Goswamis and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is giving us a chance to get in the elevator and go to the top floor without, visiting all the other floors or going up the staircase or the yoga ladder, because frankly, we don't have the time or the ability, and we're just so slow in spiritual advancement. There's no hope. Even Lord Chaitanya said, my spiritual master considered me a great fool. I can't study Vedanta. I just chant the holy name and cleanse myself. So I say that if people are following regulatory principles and following instructions, but at the same time are into mysticism, and then I think that there's some mixed devotion there, and Krishna will give, but if good association is maintained, and Krishna will give them the realization and the knowledge and understanding by which they can get free from any kind of deviations and any kind of stumbling blocks, and just take up the pure chanting and be cleansed in such a nice way that they'll come around more. I don't know if that's satisfactory, but I'm seeing it like that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. As much as we love to hear your voice, we also would like to see your person. And sometimes your camera pushes you aside. We do not see you. I'm sorry to say.
What happened? I was playing with my phone.
This is good. This is good. Yes.
Okay.
I have one last question, because I learned this in speech when I was in college, that usually when someone is speaking, they say what is most important in the introduction, and some speak what is most important in the conclusion. because some, the introduction, it hits you and it sticks with you throughout the entire speech. And others also say that they listen, they forget. So the last one, the conclusion, is what is very impactful. And later on, as I tried to study Srila Prabhupada's writings, I realized that Srila Prabhupada is so expert that oftentimes what is most important that Srila Prabhupada wants to address, he will give it in the introduction and he will again give it in the conclusion. And that is what Srila Prabhupada did in this text today. Srila Prabhupada talked about this Maryada Vyatikrama. That is very, very dangerous. And while concluding, he also concluded with Maryada Vyatikrama. Now, I think the key word here is impertinently. Now, I'm asking this question because there have been few instances on this particular Sangha where some devotees felt that some devotees have committed this Maryada Vyatikrama. And all it happened was just like at the moment, you are my revered uncle. And therefore, when you speaking, I just have to shut up and listen to you. But our process is also that we ask questions. Of course, the questions must be asked in a very respectful manner, not impertinent. Now, somebody asks a question, an answer is given. The answer is not very satisfactory to the person asking the question, and then follows up to ask a further question. And he is deemed to be impertinent. Now, in this case, what do we do? Because I looked at the definition of impertinent, and it's very interesting Srila Prabhupada used this word, this adjective. Impertinent, I'm still share, yeah. Impertinent, lack of respect or rudeness. Somebody asking question out of respect, being humble, but forceful probably. And it seemed that way. Does that constitute Maryada Vyatikrama? If someone is asking a question respectfully, but kind of forcefully to get answer to his question, could that be considered this offense?
Yeah, I would think the way you presented it, when you read the translation of impertinence, it's rude and forceful, and anytime that a student behaves that way before his teacher, it just breaks the harmony, just like Vidura was asking so nicely, and Maitreya was so enlivened and so happy to give the answers and guidance to Vidura as a spiritual master. If there's any sense of disrespect and rudeness or aggressiveness, and even though one may feel frustrated and really not satisfied with what's coming, as an answer, and kind of turns up the volume, so to speak, then it kind of deteriorates the guru-disciple relationship. This Maryada Vyatikrama is just not showing proper respect, maybe overstepping one's position by being overly eager to be for profit and fame or whatever. These subtleties are perceived by mature persons, and Prabhupada, as you mentioned in the beginning, mentioned very carefully not transgressing the law of Maryada Vyatikrama, which is disrespecting or surpassing a great personality. And then at the very end, he wanted to reconfirm and reestablish that the Lord never tolerates the impertinence, the disrespect to his devotees. And so devotees are always more than careful, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Trinadapi Sunichina Tarodapi Seshana, that not expecting any honor for oneself, but ready to offer all respects to others. You can take that into consideration. So yes, I would agree that if one may not be satisfied with the answer that may have come. I mean, sometimes in our Bhagavatam class, we ask questions and the question doesn't even come close to being answered, but still we accept it for what it is. And we have to have faith. We have to have faith that Krishna will help us to, reconcile how it all is helping me in my spiritual life. So,
Well, thank you so much, beloved uncle. Prabhuji, I sent you a direct message. I don't know if you see it. If you see it, please respond to it before we bring this to a close.
Let's see in chat.
Yeah, I just sent to you personally.
Uh-huh.
So, dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all. It's a bit late, Prabhu's time in Manipur, India. Oh, Harichakra Prabhu has something to ask or to share.
How do I share my contact?
No. If you check, are you using a phone?
Yeah, right now I'm on the phone.
Okay, so on your phone, you will see the toolbar. You should see chat, and you will see like a red mark on it that you received a chat.
Right, now I see it. Yeah.
And then, okay. But just read it to yourself, Prabhuji. I don't know if Prabhuji, do you have a couple more minutes? Because we have one devotee with the hand up.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Harichakra Prabhu, you may unmute there.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. All glory to
Jai.
you, all to Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you for your elaborate and in-depth presentation. My question is, during your deliberation, towards the end of it, you were saying something about how devotees shouldn't be interested in a lot of things, like the day-to-day things that happen. And one of the things you mentioned was the news. So I just want some little bit clarification about it. The reason why I want the clarification, like if you don't listen to the news and there is a hurricane coming, how would you know?
Yeah, I understand that point. And generally, the news about the politics and this one did this and this one did that. Naturally, there should be some awareness of your surroundings and that you're not endangered. And when the pandemic was going on, we all had to take certain precautionary measures, medicinally, and maybe masks and no masks and this and that. So that kind of news and is obviously something that would be okay to listen to, but Gramya Katha and just to discuss, because so many so-called political leaders and government changes, they've come and gone and come and gone, and the politicians, they feel that, even though they're on their deathbed, that my country can't live without me, and without me things would be ruined, and then families fight, and neighbors fight, nations fight. It kind of enhances the bodily, it does enhance the bodily concept of life and puts us on a mundane platform. But if it's general news like disease or weather, those kind of things are, I guess, in general, are okay, but don't get so caught up in it that it deviates you from the essence of wanting to hear and the association of devotees about Krishna and the ultimate purpose of life, because everything else will just pass away and it'll be temporary. It may become just a distraction that may divert you from the clear path into the woods. You might end up in the woods somewhere off the clear path. And so that's the general, I guess, indication that I was referring to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
I'm from Florida, so we had a lot of hurricanes and a lot of issues. So we had to pay attention to the hurricane.
You win some, you lose some. I mean, the weather in Florida is so good, but these natural disasters makes it crazy. Excuse me, my language also.
Yeah, I lived in Miami and Miami Beach for many years, and we went through some pretty heavy hurricanes. So
Yeah.
naturally, when I was in Buffalo in New York, we used to listen to the radio in the morning to see when there's a snowstorm came, because the schools were closed, and we said, yeah, schools closed, we could stay home. So certain news brings happiness.
Yes, I can attest to that. When the kids don't have to go to school because of snow, it's a joy. Well, dear devotees, as you can see, spiritual life is not dry. Spiritual life is very succulent. It's very wonderful. I'm sure we've all enjoyed our Krishna Katha coming from our revered uncle.
Before you conclude, there's something else that I had wanted to say, but I got distracted a little bit at work. And about the question you asked Prabhu, that question about destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had wanted to ask a little bit more about it because I had wanted Prabhu to explain one thing, because I understand the scripture says that there are 5 things that controls this material world. Our existence. That is the Purusha, the Jiva, what Prakriti, what is the 4th one? Time. And then the 5th one is karma. And the scripture says that the 4 cannot be changed. The 4 is always permanent. The Purusha is permanent, the Jiva is permanent, Prakriti is permanent, what do you call it? Time is permanent. But karma is not permanent. Yeah. Karma can be changed. So does that explain why sometimes, even though our destiny brings us here, but still we can perform some acts to change it?
That's as you said, pretty much Purusha, Jiva, and the time and Prakriti. These are constant factors, but one has that individual choice, that karma, and we're being guided to make a choice. Lord Chaitanya is calling us, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. So he's calling, so he's hoping that we wake up and follow. and take up the process. So we, as you said, we can always utilize our minute independence and intelligence to follow to make that change in our own lives.
Jai. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, we are going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant the loudest Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, melodious or non-melodious, to express our warmest appreciation to our revered uncle and great uncle to some of us for Prabhuji being with us today. Jai. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Vanta Kalpata Rudescha, Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha, Itanam Pavanabhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha.
It's best budget for the Prabhu Ki.
So Sahadev, I'll send you my contact, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.